Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. It's Monday morning here and welcome to CPtsd TV, where we discuss all things complex trauma. And I've had some time off, so I didn't really have time off, pardon me. Welcome. It's great to be here with you this morning, and things are changing up, but they're going to be for the best too. So welcome to the new week. And today we want to have a look at codependency and the differences in codependency when it applies to complex PTSD. And I want to give you some information about what I am doing and where we'll be going from here. So to know when I go live, remember to hit your notifications button or the subscribe button so that you know when the next video is up or that I go live, because the one day that we'll be here live definitely is Wednesday morning, which is Tuesday afternoon, evening in the Northern Hemisphere. So put your alarm on, we can do that. And we'll do a class, a special class once a week. But in between the special class, I'll jump in and give you lots of information along the way as I'm learning more new material as well. Now, all the courses in the Complex PTSD Academy, Conscious Warrior Academy, have now been worded and they're all ready to go. So we'll be doing some specials around that as well. And for today, I want to share with you some information around codependency because it works out differently for us with the challenges that we have with complex PTSD. So if you're in the group, the Facebook group, you'll see the actual sign or the meme that went up around codependency. And I just want to give you some information so you can begin to look at it differently in your day-to-day life. So one of the first things it said to change was, instead of denying our needs, prioritize self-care. So in order to do that, we have to first be willing to sit down and make a conscious observation about where am I denying my needs. And if we can't do that, then we'll never be able to prioritize self-care because we don't know. We're not conscious of denying our needs. We're operating on automatic pilot and we just go about our day, same day, same in, same out. So we have to make a conscious awareness of what our needs are. And also we need to be able to say, right, if this is my need, how can I fit it into my day-to-day life? And if I'm a mum, then I need to start being willing to say to my kids, okay, I need to do this. And this is what I used to do with my kids when they were young. I need to do this. It's going to take 10 to 15 minutes. And it's a good way to teach kids the time too, by the way. Look at the clock. This is what will happen. And then you can have my attention. So instead of looking at it from the point of view of giving our kids all their attention, giving them all our attention and then getting to our stuff, we turn it around and we go, no, I need to get this done first. You can come and help me if it's something that they can help with, age appropriate, doing the dishes or hanging out the washing, getting the washing in. Think of it that way and then turn it around. All right, so these are your needs. It's not just your needs of eating, drinking, it's the needs of the activities that are happening in your day as well. Because the mental load that happens if we as mothers, parents, spouses, if we don't get these things done, they weigh heavily on us mentally as well. So we want to make these things a priority, okay? And it's hard to make them a priority when we're used to doing for everyone first. So we have to make this conscious effort to say, no, stop, I've got to do this first, and then we can do all the fun stuff. This is a challenging one, compulsively trying to fix or take care of other people. We have to actually imprint on our brain that other people, especially adults, need to not only make their own choices, but they also need to build an awareness around what will work for them. And we need to build an awareness around what works for us isn't going to work for anyone else. And some of that's communication, but some of it also is a case of can I say what works for me? And if I've tried to tell them repeatedly, then I need to step back, okay? I need to step back and I need to listen intently. Always be welcome, feel free to listen intently, but we have to be willing to let other people make their own choices. I know for me, this was a big step in understanding, because I grew up so responsible that I actually had to learn this, like absorb it and take it on board, and then be able to say, right, they are an adult, they've got to make their own decisions, and it doesn't matter how much I can see that there may be a healthier way, not better, but just a healthier way. I've got to let them make their mistakes. And even with the kids growing up, I had to go, okay, we've got to do the dishes, here's the soap and water, but I didn't tell them how to do every little bit of it. I let them find their way through it. And that creates a really healthy level of resilience in them as adults, because they know they can have a go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they can have a go. And sometimes we need to do that with other adults, is just take that step back, all right? Because it's healthy for us too. It's a healthy way to adult. If you've got a codependence part of you that's seeking approval from others, look at that from the perspective that you have a need that you're not meeting for yourself. You can approve of yourself. Now that might sound funny, but look at it as a value. How can I value myself? One of the ways we can value ourselves is be prepared to listen to all the people that let us know how kind and caring and how thankful they are for us. And sometimes it can be quite interesting. I don't know if that's the right word, but it can be very different when we listen to other people and what they say about us and be prepared to take it on board. All right, that's a value. We're allowed to value ourselves. One of my close friends has an enormous amount on their plate at the moment with 2 sick parents and so much more. And she said to me, you asked, could you get me some groceries and drop them by? And I was like, well, I thought that was a normal thing to do. And she said, well, nobody else has done that. And so what we do in that situation is don't deflect and say, oh, everyone does that. We learn to say, wow, that is the value. There is something that I have that perhaps others don't. Not that we should compare, but we've got to start somewhere, okay? And giving ourselves a hard time is not a good thing, okay? Saying to ourselves, wow, I've really contributed and helped somebody else is a good way to value ourselves, or at least to begin to value ourselves, all right? So get that self-talk happening. Actually, I must do an automatic thoughts video for you as well. I've done one before, but I want to do another one, because our automatic thoughts come from survival brain. So we've got to catch them and say, oh, wow, that's really neat that I'm able to help someone. And that's why we help each other out in group too, because we can do this self-talk and we can choose to turn things around and say, wow, I have value. I have a presence here and I'm needed, all right, because I'm adding value to somebody else's life as well. Now, our value too can be found in the values that we have. Now, if you Google values, what are personal values, there is heaps of lists. But just pick the first top 10 that suit you, that are values that are going to drive your behavior, okay? So for me, offering to help somebody in a way that I could help. So I'm not really good at cleaning houses, or at the moment, I don't have a big kitchen, so I'm not very good at contributing food for the freezer or things like that. But what I do is think about how can I help somebody who's a friend or in my local community. How can I help them that doesn't cause me a lot of stress, but it's going to contribute, and we can do that. And one of the first things I ever did when I couldn't talk, okay, so I had all my language center access to my language center was gone. I wasn't able to verbalize what I was thinking, even though I had thoughts. And so what I did to add value was go into Facebook groups and help other people with the information I had back at that stage. And people would say thank you, and I would hold on to it in my heart going, if I've helped someone today, that's a good thing. Okay, so turn it around into a really healthy thing. Good morning, girls. Sorry, I just ad hoc jumped in. It's great to have you with me. Feel free to ask questions. Judging and criticizing ourselves with complex PTSD, it's really, really important that we learn that not all thoughts are our conscious thoughts. Some of them are automatic thoughts driven from the survival brain, and they're the ones we've got to look out for. So they're the ones that you'll be out having a good time, or even just out, let's face it, out doing what we've got to do. Next thing you know, this thought comes along and it's very judging and criticizing, and it could be of us, it could be of other people, whatever. We know that it's driven from the unconscious because we weren't even thinking that way. And then we go, right, why? Okay, so something in my brain is sparked and it feels like I'm threatened. Right, I can turn this around now, and I don't have to be that person. I'm not that person. That judgmental and criticizing thought was from old patterns when I needed to feel that I was safe. Okay, so catch it. I dare you to catch one today. You'll find the automatic thoughts do come, and when they do, and you can shoot them down in flames and go, that's not me, that's not who I am as a person. It's an automatic thought processed from the unconscious to keep me safe. And then the next bit that we can do from there is say, where is my brain perceiving that I'm unsafe? Is there a set of criteria around? We may not know, but if we can look at the circumstances, and one of the quickest ways to look at it or assess the situation is to say, is there something I'm doing different now? So for example, if I went down to the local shops and I wanted to run in and just grab something that I already had pre-thought of. So just say I want to go into the local Kmart and grab a gym shirt, right? And I get there and I didn't know that either there was school holidays or a sale on, and I get there and I'm going straight to where I wanted, but it's full of people. The unconscious brain can automatically start with criticizing or self-judging thoughts, or you know what they're like. They come and all of a sudden you stop and you pull up and you go, what? Okay, obviously my whole system isn't feeling safe, so I need to stand here. I need to build an awareness around my breath. I need to be aware, pardon me, feeling tight. We feel tight in our throat, trying to get the breath. Like this morning, Nick and I went for a walk. So we rocked up to gym this morning. The gym was shut because it's flooded. And what we did was go for a walk around the block, okay? And then, because I haven't been outside like walking around, my whole throat and everything you can feel trying to breathe, because my brain's like, well, this is new, we haven't done this in ages, unsafe. Certainly unsafe or not, okay? And practice self-compassion. Have compassion for yourself, all right? It's really good to be very gentle. So if the criticism comes up, go, oh, that's what's driving it. Breathe, and I can be gentle with me. I can slow down, because I find that often I'm barreling along and I go, oh, I've got to slow down and be here in this moment, even though all around me was totally unexpected, okay? And if we're into the stage where we're doing people pleasing, remember we have to develop a stronger sense of self. You can do that with the My Authentic Self program in the Conscious Warrior Academy. And our sense of self is actually part of our brain that we need developed, all right? Because when we have abandonment in our childhood, now abandonment can imply, like I used to think, oh, I wasn't abandoned, all right? So because what's the image in your mind around abandonment? To me, abandonment was like having a baby left on the side of the road or on a doorstep, and I kept thinking, but I wasn't abandoned. And it wasn't until I did my internal work that what my body and brain were holding on to was a time when overnight I lost my mother, my father, and my brother, who were my core family at home. They'd all gone. And I was with my grandparents for over 3 weeks. I hadn't, children at that age, I was about 3 or 4. We lived moment to moment. And so I was like, where's my mum? And had no idea. And of course, back then, nobody talked about what was going on at all, not even age appropriate. And that created such an abandonment wound in me. I mean, that was the final, nail in the coffin. That was sealed the deal for my abandonment wound. But of course, it was ongoing over time too with mum. And so I want you to remember that we do need to develop this stronger sense of self, because without it, we can't have the strength for our brain to let go of what our body needs to let up. Because if our body needs to let something up and our brain perceives that we're not strong enough, it won't come up. So we've got to do this internal work. We've got no choice, all right? Otherwise, our body keeps holding on to stuff because our brain is still running the show and will shut down, okay? All right. You're welcome, Julie. Not a problem at all. Have a great day, wonderful evening, and I'm pretty sure I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, bye for now.